How do you sit with poise? It was the dumbed down version for what you find an extra weight for the version and maybe the conversion for what you step to the point for the capacity to think of the will I listen for the haven't I heard already. How do you sit with poise? How do you sit with poise? How do you sit with poise? It was the dumbed down version for what you find an extra weight for the version and maybe the conversion for what you step to the point for the capacity to think of the will I listen for the haven't I heard already for the definition for the action for regret for the standing inside of the rhythm for the sending the point for the yawning and capacity for the occupy. Understanding. She sits poised enough for the pose for the picture her for the dead with the fresh makeup for the makeup reality to mind and meaning to mind and supporting and posing yet the truth and burn the though that even the eyes are hearts condition. Or it was the issue for the never the reaching out for the reach out for the get to what you reach for the reaching self and that creates a two that feet for the crystal walls and close and backwards and forgotten that for the eyes and left for the magnify for the sight for the heavy for the glass and heart. Where the bloods and vessels and fun and that for the work to support the inflation the extra weight for the most heart for the murmurs and prayers and felt by the beneath the praise and salvation the mercy yes for the God and for the street hungers and for the grass but not in vain. Blue for the hair and the vein and the mirror for the you were in the vein and the mirror for the net for the net the leash and loosen and the flashing the kinks and out of her hair for a wink to that with the eye to herself in the groove. After the shit you giving for the taking the residue for the walls and match that for the residue for the heart for the wasn't built in a day for the mummy when the cosmic construction the self-interest and pain the love the given to destruction if she was. She does not wish she closed her eyes and flushes out salt and tears and puddle by the feet for the familiar comfortability for the tattered and doom. She crawls and forth down the pain the path find the pain for the world the issues along that for the days ago for the lost him and illusion for the sticking the middle finger for the down for the breaking up in the brown town down for the drowning trying to do much to sit. Stretch that for beneath that tight suit for the pride. There is no more room for the dignity for the depth of the pride for the sun for the distant bride for the shroud of the offense between the heaven and the hell. Wondering how far she can go for the how long it would take for the she's never the wasteland for the she has. She's not a paradise that she's given despairs. The space that for the pride for the beauty. Bleeding heart shares, she stabs herself for the desperate. Attempt to control. Turn around for the upside down for the ocean takes herself for the bear for the divided for the shallow for the depth and the attempt of depth control. Deep in the depth for the dust of the passing of the weight. She wakes up from the soft pleasant song and she forgives herself easily for the beginning faster and then for the curse of the giver. The wheel of that for the whale. Through the wet and the wild for the weather for the continuing for the infancy for the infant test so I can find the inferior for the walls or whether the baby pictures hanging out for the proof of the purchase for the pure life of the baby. Channels basic with the cables necessary for this to be the wide and father for still for the falling sharp for the fumble for the love of the mindful. Or calcified beings the same core with the self hate for the gets that for the eye for the sipping people wanting enough for the white blood cell for the choked out for the death for the horses are beat for the drums and now for the penetrate for the eardrum for the you can on the miles and down the nauseous. Large and clumsy enough for the born with a good heart for the velvet and feather for the disobedient heart choking sounds and that for the gift for the parent for the tip for the hand the head of a monster for the penetration for the power of possess. Holy confessions given that for the wind for the carry that for the ear for the heart for the hurt for the ocean for the subconscious that for drifting about the found upon the shore. Sure the universal return for the heart. Amazon never had such accurate delivery. Deliver for the heart for the Hebrew himself for the unpacked it for him for the clumsy hands that held the universe and different universal human. It was a whole that conversation for the she was winning that for the practice new feet for the memories mistaken for the curses she breathed the day for the shadow. Her love in one hand for the person for the other for the unwelcome the guest and brought that for the threshold to never the ancestral. Tagged along for the dirt book. She plays with fire for the heart for the soul the moth to the burn that for the self for the pleasure for the place for the importance of the place. Stood that for full of love for the life of the fools and the fucking scorching for the
Baby, I'll be there too. But only nothing there.
Stand for the fool of love, love for the love.
Perfume in a nice drink.
The risky busy for the
Girl, I
for the spirit. She's awkward enough for the creation from death and yet unafraid and skinny for the without the stamp for the yes and love that you are for the spoken language and she had yet to master.
Check it out now.
What's right with the game? This should be the place for the perspective. Circle the numbers, not adding up at the piece of the pie for the patience to concern your weight. But this is why change and why wait for this to be taken away for the moments, the memos imposed upon you. Elongated for the Instagram for your memory. Or memos and grams that was posted away for this to be the young buck. Wide for the heart, for the nature of the board. Mark for the death, for the point, not for the bird. She stinks, she feeds after deep and deep with the urges. Close her eyes to get better looks and this is she wills. And for the will, for the heart, for the meaning, for the desire, for the enthusiasm, inspiration, for the fascination, for the creation of the play like a child, for the reckless and without a care for the consequences aware. Selling on with the safe like it was a place and after the hope, the mothers of one with the close after the shoulders to still be tattered for the giver, the less appreciated for the one after trick the trying to turn the car arch code. Yield enough of the will for the yielder, underturns and after to give up of the gorgeous and the crash in front of the legion that was around the upheaval. And storm the out before the calm, but that was still the yield, and before the nature provokes. Proves that provoking and hurt to the last drop of the resistance, repentance for the temples and echoes that reverberates and left through the hollow halls. Possessions, that for the turner for the minds and claims, and that was specifically for the takedown for the path, the lesser travel for the mistaken for the mistake, that for the future for the fortune. Preto for the past tense and present that for the presentation for the company, but excluded for the half, and already for the travel past and that but worth the world to be torn. Abandoned for the long ago, abandoned ship and who's that for the captain here for the long ago, for the rise of the bungalow for the emotional see. It was an emotion, you see. It was emotion in the ocean of the sea for the dash at the end of the to and fro for the pacification for the completing the nations and selling the self and find the seas of bloodline for the ghost of the tires, towns retired. The embrace of the ash to know whether she will end up with the coping mechanism for the consequences of pretty faces, the booty laced up for the desire to find the sentence of the sender, seen to lose in the hand with the sour notes. From the lineage to the clothing calamity, ruin that before you can find it where you arrive. For the global safety, for the art of life, for the off the line and harmony, for the stepping through the space and holes, for the embracing of beauty, for the bathing night, for the life of suffering. For the ancient text and death of the native, even enough in the final dark for the web of the antimatter for the answers. Giving into the swampy murky, the unknown desire to reveal the origins and stage strange enough for the sunshine for the dark matters of the verb.
opening their minds and passing, looking past the points of light for the towards the darkness. Eyes to the third person representing for the teeth, reveals enough of vulnerability for the disability of what she lies and naked on the back of the building. New secrets to the hidden side of her head. He brings her from the division for the hopes forgotten. Renew like the cell phone plans to herself. Renewal for the call without for the responding for the contract for the contacted for the through the stretch, that for the out of the hand for the cage of the mind for the purposes of running over underneath the that for the plan. If you plan to meet the end, over the outer limits and tuck inside of the suits of flesh, of this and exiting through the exit rooms and sabotaging your saboteur. I can find the knife and plunging once again for the sneaky ego to find the tricks that they will stay alive. Cut yourself into the vomit of the words and unable to keep it down for nothing. She stands in shame and readmitted for the reeking. This goddess of rhythm and war for the suffering away from the shooting soul and show the scars from the grown hairs and overgrown habits and this no ability for the claim. Just an humble day for the death of knowing nothing but for the feet, for the dirt, for the peace, for the treaty, for the hearts of that for the start, for the end, the beginning, the form of nature. The truth that speaks from unprocessed brain that farts with thought and mind and find it twice as thoughts of the living and repeating the matter for one more time like the gods arriving at one time. Rising upon that for the rising upon the eyes for the chariot with that for the pumping and pit, the stripped and ashes blazing, naughty for the nature for the diving and a bunch of accepted begin for the end of the round for the never the favorite for the follow that day for the day we walk together. Today is taking turns and teasing up the phone clothing rooms and finally poking pushing back the best together for the brother for the sister the twisted and a wild walk together for the times that it makes turns and teasing. It was that for the tongue to tingle for the wetness and the heart to car and the heat dancing with the body for the friction and orbiting for the internal cosmology for this exploring the territory with spinning and further deeper the spirituality for the slave without the heat and kind of outer space and reflection of your eyes to see things outside. Down enough for there for the sure worshiping for the false eyeballs and poor reflections and giving you proof for here for the now for the dance along for the turn path and side by side for the rhythm for the separate point for the capacity for the thinking now you listen. Have you already heard? Death leaves no further action for the point of regret for the understanding of how you sit with boys. What you have is not the revenue for the converted for this distribute. What you have is not the revenue for the converted for this distribute. For there's the leftover for the yarn, the earnings for the earn not for the blessed to be generated for the generations of generous for the generous and gentlemen for the heart actor heart for the genetic for the inheritance and rich and poor for the judgment. Your course that anchored the stagnation, the stammers to walk out for the through and die for the good behavior for the army, the recruiters and never had that front line for the war for the justification, the reason there for the only way. We are finding a peaceful future for the current dictators and currency, the manipulation regardless of what your father who's oppressive, pressure for the left to be proved and provoked. Protected for the bearing arms and harm for the love, for the not for the knowing for who you actually are, for the victims and the loved ones of their all and waking up in the morning of the past. Repeats itself like wanting to be seen again for the hurt at the same time, for the pace at a different time for the devil, the schedule for the baby, the sooner than later, for the darker than lunar than the rise, and now for the perspective for the higher highs, the low tides. Reseed your magically turning rain to light to shower the hope and the longevity for the prepare the drought for the harvest with what nutrients and unnecessarily for the depending upon the others for survival skills to be placed upon the scale for the weight for the time for the spoil the secrets of fish upon the too much consumption of mercury that keeps it retro for the renovative and the hopes of motion moistifying and told for the apartments and on the dense and metropolitan effort for the grids and the grinds. Determination stand united for the center for the extinction for the egos and lies. These are the breaks or the proteins and the food chart for not giving the revised approved eating for the agro corporation for the soda so expensive life for the barely making the wages and tough to wedge out for the tight crack the fill holder niggers with the hoodie niggas gonna get right away for the downfall. Current for the rivers to the down the south for that the enslaved mentality for the institution for the raps and bars without the genre. The flag culture for the solidarity, the self, the war and the sorrow for the weather parts together for the still stand strong like you stand still seal for the confidence in the product and never the wrong mislabeled it's mislead. Misled the pen, or no paper to write the fist. That was in the air for the user when the tippers to flare for the distant music loud enough for the stereotypes. And you type that for the wouldn't having something to say for less than how you feel for the numbing enough for the behind the chest. The treasures to found off the map. And when you coordinate for the find the coordinates for the starlight. It was the dark skin, segregation, desaturated for the melanin for the whose rhythm is melancholy enough for the been in the host since I came out of one for the zone. They're looking for the sea level to feel the walk tall, the distant world, the stories of giants. He was played on Broadway for this the south of the from Broadway for the free for the not to change to donate for the film for the dish wipe the fine the film to wipe the eyes that wipe the film for the glasses to give the amnesty for the vision for the forefathers to cite the victims and find to forget them anyways for meanings the meanings and ways to find a misleading tour guide for the entertainment for the train to enter to be tamed and tampered the peers a house of pads. We bled until you were famous lovers of the lower class and getting high with paint and painting for panting over the feelings and walking your name with the territory, the security for the terror for the Addison, use it for your gridlock and your shortcuts. We were always hippies with long hair and after hip to your style for the techniques that worn out sleep, that ornaments for the treason, for the reason with the price and seasons, and participate for the artificial beliefs, and you can have that for the most stretch out limbs and find a balance in the limbo to understand.
Bar you raised to bent the back to the common day for what you wanted for the accomplishing the compiling. Complimentary. Hope for your feelings to be raised and enlisted for the LGBT, for the foster care, for the knowledge, for the children who affected. There will be the effects of that will be felt eventually at the time you events that the architectural timelines without the portals that outlines the time frame. Memory for the insight there for the memory for the memo for the insert within the wall for the book to hang there for the calendar for the digital world for the numbers that don't line for the Gregorian for the schedules to face the factor the symbol for the factor for the below the face value for the big garden bargain shop that for the barricades sales that aren't even the selling price for the you can find out what's in store for the discounted for the generics and neighbors define the genre. Sales are the final for the gift you and I never receive the smile that you can receive the gift of that receptionist that can't even resonate with what you're asking her for the stage of the buying for them asking you if I'm buying enough of the that for the why you affect that for the amount of customers to sell their version of this time. You're broken enough for the heart for the distant art, the rich enough for the grand open somewhere, somewhat. Some cost to find the competitor, what you can find the pioneers alone, fast enough to receive the moral for the integral business for the just jurisdiction for the thirsty patrons and hungry nights. Or it was the metalheads, metal hearts who can't be penetrated for the swipe your scab of conviction for the convincing the commentated for the committed for the commentary for the death of like the words of tombs and cemeteries, periodically pairs and tables and similar for the element for the containment for the bloody hearts of those on new moons that rise up repeatedly enough for the sights of blind sides.
Thank